Hello and welcome everyone to Twin Flames, the Great Spiritual Awakening podcast, where every week you can hear real life stories from people who answer the call of divine love. My name is Dennis. I'm a certified ascension coach with Twin Flames Universe and your host. And I have been on my Twin Flame journey for a couple of years now. And thanks to the teachings of union, found my true Twin Flame that I'm now living in union with. For this episode today, I am very happy to welcome here with me Abeer. Hi, Abeer. How are you doing
Hi,
today?
Dennis. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And thank you for being here today. You have been a very dedicated student of the teachings of union for a couple of years now, and you've achieved many beautiful successes in many areas of your life with the teaching. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to talking about your journey and your experiences today and how your life changed with the teachings and yeah, what life you built for yourself and what happened with your twin flame, of course.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for having me. Such a pleasure. Such an honor to be here as well. Yes.
My honor to have you. So
Mhm.
yeah, I want to jump right in with you at the beginning of your spiritual journey. And my first
Mm.
question to you would be, what was it that first got you into spirituality and
Mm.
awakened you, so to say?
Mm. I felt like this started with me in my teens.
Mm.
And like I was really well brought up. Like you can say, I had everything in life that I needed. Like I was well looked after, loved by my parents, had good friends, like good education, everything that anyone can ask for. And there came a point in my life, it was like, I think I was 14 or 15 years old, and I was like, I used to talk to stars and as like God, and I was talking to God and I was like, God, what's more to life? I feel I'm
Mm.
done. I feel that's it. Like, this is it. I've experienced everything. And like now, if I look back, like as a teen, how can someone say that I've seen everything, you know?
Mm.
So it was kind of a search started that what more
Mm.
is there in life? There has to be something more. And I think this was happening in the house as well. Like my mom was exploring, my dad as well. Like they
Mm.
were exploring spirituality, their religion as well. And we had books at home. Like we had books about Quran for children. And since I was brought up in Oman, it was an Islamic country. They
Mhm.
used to have this radio program called Readings from Quran, and I used to listen to that, make notes, and internet was new, so I was also
Mm.
exploring through the internet about stories, about Sufism and poetry, and yeah, I got really into it since then, and desire to have a guru in my life. Yeah,
Mm.
that was there. Yeah.
Mm. And you were born in India, right?
Yes. Yes.
So what impact did that have on your spiritual journey at this stage?
I guess it is such a it's an honor I feel to be born Indian. I feel like because you have access to a lot of teachings, and
Mm.
you're exposed to a lot of paths, different religious paths. Even though you don't actively follow it, it is all around you. You
Mm.
have people from different religions and sects, and ideas as well, exploring spirituality. And I was born in India, but my dad, since he was in the army, we moved a lot in India, and then he moved to Oman, and my entire schooling was done in Oman.
Mhm.
And the good thing about that again was it was very multicultural. I was exposed to kids from different backgrounds, and it gave me that sense that I guess I was preparing for unionism as a
Mm.
kid, since kid, you know, like it gave me a sense that all kids are lovable, all kids are same, from any culture, any color, any background, any religion. It doesn't matter. We're all one. So I guess that's what the impact it had, and it doesn't. I don't hesitate in exploring any religion or any scripture. That's one thing. Even like I think it was passed on by my parents as well. Like they had books from all backgrounds and all religions. So and that has not stopped. So even like with unionism, the beauty of unionism is it's all inclusive. Yeah, I still enjoy it. I still like savor the beauty of all religions and scriptures. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Then with unionism, you actually, like, it sounds like you've actually been doing that your entire life. And then like when Jeff and Shaleia founded unionism, it kind of was just like what you've been looking for this time with
Yes.
reading all these different scriptures from different religions.
Yes. Yes.
It's beautiful. And then from this, as you were, reading and exploring these different scriptures and different religions and spiritual paths, how did that lead you to the twin flame journey?
Hmm. I did not know anything about this journey to start with. Like, I was very much almost a fanatic as a religious person, and I used to go to the temple to sing every Sunday, and I had desired to move to Australia just as a to explore myself and also explore my career and just have an independent life. So when I came to Australia, I found a job and found my way from starting from scratch, which was an amazing experience in itself. When I had come, to be honest, there weren't many Indians here. It was almost like 90% white country. And if I had seen one more Indian walking on the street, we would just smile and start talking. It was like that at that time. Yeah. And now there are so many Indians. It's nice, actually. And yeah. And I came to Australia in 2013, and I kept changing jobs as I was like exploring and basically graduating in my career path. And I joined the HSBC Bank, which is a world known bank. And I was really, really happy that I actually got an opportunity to work with the bank. And there I met someone who started kind of like meeting him triggered my twin flame journey itself, because it felt like I had met him. I had met him before. We're like known each other from the past lives or something like that. And then I experienced spiritual awakening, as you can say, like my heart chakra opened and I started exploring online, like what happened to me. And then I came across a lot of YouTube channels explaining about twin flames. I kind of resonated, although we were not like in any relationship or anything. We were just friends. I could relate that there was mirroring going on, and there was a lot of stuff being, mirrored to me, that and also felt like there was a guidance given to me through that person.
Okay.
Even though whether he was saying things physically to me, or it felt like ascended masters were guiding me through the process. So I remember during that time, like I used to wake up at 3 in the morning, and it felt like someone's waking me up like that, like, touching my hand and waking me up at 3 in the morning. And it was really beautiful and a divine time. And that usually happens when you're having that Kundalini awakening time, when you start your spiritual journey. And when I came across, like I was exploring because I didn't know what was going on with me. So when I was exploring, I came across Jeff and Shaleia's channel, YouTube channel. It resonated perfectly with me. And I was like, okay, here's a couple sharing their love. They're in Twin Flame Union. They know what they're talking about. So yeah, rest is history. I followed that trail and now I'm here. Yeah.
Beautiful. And when you found Jeff and Shaleia, Because you mentioned you had read, all these, you've explored all these different spiritual paths and religions. And what was it when you found them that was new for you, and kind of where you were like, oh, wow, this is what I had been looking for all of this time. This is what really answers my question, well, the questions I had.
Yeah. They Jeff and Shaleia have mentioned this in their classes as well. They have mentioned it in multiple videos, and but I feel like it's not been highlighted. And I feel like that's the piece that fits. If Vedas were supposed to be written again, if there was supposed to be the last Veda, it has to be the piece of unionism. I feel like it'll just kind of put everything together. And that's what Jeff and Shaleia say, that the masters have come here before and they have revealed the paths to God, and we are here just to add like to the last piece of that. So it actually totally feels like that. It feels like a completion. It feels like this is what I've been searching for. All religions, all spirituality talk about love. They all talk about love at the core. Love with God, connection with God, resonance with God, devotion to God. And even in like Hindu scriptures, they talk about bhakti is 9 types of bhaktis. It starts with the like seva, which is service, and it starts with listening to the teachings and following the teachings, obedience, and it goes up, 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 and it goes to how the relationship with God, your relationship with God, graduates. And the last 2 are devotion, and the last is actually friendship, like sakha sakhi, union. And that's the piece that they talk about, the relationship with God as a lover. And this is not something that has yet been highlighted so much in the society, in the written society so far. Maybe before this time period when there was like Satyuga, when it was Satyuga, then probably it was taught. But now it was time that, like in their book, they have mentioned, it was time for us to reach this point, to learn this and have that pure, divine, intimate relationship with God. Yeah.
I love that. And I love how you put that what they brought was like the final completing piece to kind of like putting the last stone on a tower that had been in the works for like centuries.
Yeah.
Love that.
Hence the upheaval.
Yeah, absolutely. And then once you found Jeff and Shaleia and you knew, okay, these are the gurus, the guides that I have been looking for, did you go all in with Twin Flame Ascension School and Life Purpose class? Or how did your journey develop from there?
Yeah, right away. So when I contacted Twin Flames Universe for a call, and the coach called me, and she said they have their classes going on, and they have their book. I'm like, yeah, all in. Give me everything. So I was all in. I signed up for Twin Flame Ascension School, and that was the time when the recording was still going on. I used to wait for 3 days for it to upload,
I
and
remember that too.
I loved it. I was like, I couldn't sleep some nights. I was like, okay, it's gonna be uploaded now, I used to be so looking forward for that. Yeah, and following the teaching as the teaching was going on with the school, with the community. Yeah, it was really amazing. And I knew yeah, people talk about going all in, all in. I didn't question that at all. Yeah, I'm thankful to God for that, that I didn't question it. Yeah, and became so easy. With a guru, it's easy. It's so easy. Yeah.
Amen to that. And
Mm.
once you went all in with the teaching, and you got yourself a coach, and you had regular coaching and began to regularly watch classes, practice the mirror exercise, what changed in your life?
Everything. Literally, like I felt like my fake house was on fire. And it was time to rebuild my permanent home with God. I had been running these patterns of doing, and not really looking back at my soul of what my desires were and connecting to God from that place. I had been pushing myself away, shutting myself down, and then being in survival mode all the time. So it was time for that fake house to just, stop, just fall down. So that started happening with the mirror exercise. And I knew that all I was feeling, that I'm feeling good now. I'm feeling good with every mirror exercise. That goodness is building up. With that vibration building up, my clarity started coming from my mind. And with that clarity, I was able to navigate my life in a different way. And miracles started happening naturally in my life. Like even the jobs, I changed every time my job. I would do mirror exercise. I'll tell you a secret. If you want to have a better job, just mirror exercise every upset you have in a job. Like literally, I would just write down all my upsets with my job itself, with boss, with colleagues. I would even go to the toilet and do the mirror exercise to feel better. And during lunchtime, I would like take walks and listen to A Course in Miracles. And, I was like totally into it. And then as I shifted my jobs, my career also took some shifts because of me coming back to my nature just naturally, because you're loving yourself, you're bringing yourself back into harmony. I was working for banks, and now I'm working with the government, and it feels very peaceful and grounded, and it feels like more aligned to how I am. And now, literally, I feel like I'm in work heaven, like one of classes where Chrissy is expressing herself. She's like, I think I'm in work heaven because she gets to do what she loves doing and yet gets paid for it. And that's how I feel like literally in my jobs. And with my friends as well, it started clearing out. Like all those who loved me unconditionally kept staying, still love me, and are there with me. My family came closer. I had actually distanced myself from my family. Biggest pain point of my whole life was that I'm not close to my brother. And when I came to Australia, I used to feel very alone. As I did the mirror exercise, I healed. I have such a divine relationship with him now. And my parents came closer. Yeah, as I kept healing, a lot of like rubbish went out of my life. So yeah.
That's really beautiful. And as you began healing and all of this, as you said, rubbish, like cleared
Mhm.
out, was that something that in the beginning was easy for you, or were you experiencing something
Mm.
like this, oh my God, my entire life is falling apart?
Yeah, it does feel scary. You have to face the fear. When you face the fear, then it starts dissolving. But the only thing that we keep doing is running away from the fear and not face it. Because we're running away from it, we don't face it, it troubles us even more. It piles up, or we numb out. So the whole point was like me turning my back and facing all my fears. And like they say, Jeff and Shaleia teach us, everything that is outside is a reflection of your inner. Everything that is out of alignment outside is just reflection of what you are facing within. So in a way, you are in charge and control of your reality. So it is all about facing that uncomfortable feeling. And no, it wasn't easy. I had the support of my coaches, and the classes. I kept my own faith. I had my own support. I'm really like I am thankful to myself for sticking it up for
Mm-hmm.
those days, like when it was so scary, so many times, and I'm like, I want to give up. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I can continue. And those are the times when unseen forces are with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, believe me, especially when you are part of this community, when you're part of this school, when you are under the umbrella of your guru, you have these miracle forces, like they will lift you. And somehow I have seen when there are times when you're so broke and you just like give up. I will find a message from someone in the community asking me, how are you doing? Do you want to, help me? Yeah, always I will receive some help.
Mm-hmm.
And I never give up. And I'm thinking, all from the day I started Twin Flame Ascension School till today, I have not missed a single coaching session. Every week I am coaching, just showing up, just
Mm-hmm.
showing up. And that's what Jeff and Shaleia say. Just show up. That's it. And the
Mm-hmm.
path will take you. The path will take you. Just surrendering to the process, just trusting the process is enough. And those moments, that's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
You nothing will stand, like, your thoughts are against you. You feel like the world is against you. You feel like it. It's not true. The world is for you. But at that time, you feel everything is against you. But just keeping that trust and faith that God is with me, then
Mm-hmm.
and following my guru and this path will lead me to, liberation.
Mm-hmm.
And always happens that I am able to overcome any fears or any hurdles that are in front of me. And yeah, I continue doing that. That's the beauty of this path, and makes you stronger. That's what gives you strength, actually. I didn't realize that, now if I look back, I'm like, all my fears were actually giving me strength.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Mm-hmm. I absolutely love what you just shared. It's really inspiring, and I can resonate a lot with your experience. And I love that you're really highlighting the importance of having a spiritual community
mm,
and gurus, and like really a support system around you while you're on this
mm,
journey. Because as you shared, like when you really begin your journey and you start clearing out your
mm,
reality and healing, and everything seems to be falling apart,
mm.
it's so important you have the support around you, because that's really what, like, you're not meant to do it by yourself. You can't do it
Yeah,
by yourself.
yeah. And I've seen that practically in my life. Like, you feel like at that time, oh my God, I am going to slip, I'm going to fail.
Mm,
But when you build that strength, anything you build after that is heaven. It's
mm,
permanent. It's
mm-hmm,
it's not going to go. Like, for example, like, I didn't know that I could buy this house. Like, I invested
mm-hmm,
in this house, and it was a miracle, actually.
mm,
And didn't even I didn't think at all that I could, because Sydney is such an expensive place. And of course I had the desire in my heart, but God wanted to show me and help me walk through this process. And it was just me listening to God, and
mm,
I was just following that trail. There were so many times that I would get a bill that is so much higher than what money I had in my bank. And it would somehow manifest, and I would receive the money to pay and have this, there was no point that
mm,
God was not there with me, and still there. And I have stopped worrying about how I'm going to pay the mortgage. It's God's job. It's God's job. So I had to, like, literally, God was training me in every step, that
mm.
when will you stop worrying? So
Oh.
he brings you to heaven, in every step, he brings you to heaven. Then anything you build with God is permanent. Yeah.
Mm. That's so juicy. I'm like, ooh, I needed to hear this right now.
Yeah.
So, since you're sharing about your relationship with God, I want to ask you something about that. How has your relationship with God changed over the years that you've now
Mm,
applied the mirror exercise and the teachings of
mm.
union?
Wow. you know that silent relationship that you've always had, uh, that is permanent. That's never going to change.
Mm-hmm.
But it expands in so many
Mm-hmm.
ways I didn't realize. Like, I always thought that God is just, okay, someone in the temple, someone I can speak to maybe once or twice a day through my prayers. If I do certain kind of rituals or meditations, that's when I can speak to God. But it transformed when I came into the listening to Jeff and Shaleia of how you can build that relationship in every dialogue, in every thought, in every feeling, and connecting to God through your feelings
Mm-hmm.
was mind blowing. Like that just did the job, because that is where the true connection is. He's right here with you, and connecting to God in physical, grounding in physical. God wants to give you all your desires.
Mm-hmm.
That was something new. That was not something that maybe in the Eastern religion and the culture, there's a tendency of wanting to go into sannyas, how do you say it in English? Like giving up all your materialistic life.
Like,
Renunciation. Yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a tendency of wanting to do that. So not
Mm-hmm.
all sects are like that. Not all sects are like that, but some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, and you do get attracted to that extremism. Like, oh my God, they went in the Himalayas. They're actually going to get something there. And but it's not true. You already have God. You just have to discover Him. And
Mm-hmm.
not accepting God in all areas is actually denying yourself God. You're actually denying yourself the truth. So that's when my, like, it just blew my mind. And I feel I'm still discovering that in all aspects of how I can expand and have a deeper and a more intimate relationship with God. Like, he's there in my every, even before I sneeze, he's there. So it's so intimate. Yeah.
Mm. Can you go a bit deeper into kind of what you talked about? For one, how you connect with God through your feelings, and also how you went about understanding what it means and how to go about grounding God in the physical.
Mm.
Because I feel like,
Mm.
maybe so, uh, a lot of people listening probably don't understand. Okay, they hear you, Abeer, is saying beautiful things, but what do I do now with? How do I do that?
Yeah. First of all, not deny your desires. I think
Mm-hmm.
that is step one. We tend to push them away or take nibbles
Mm-hmm.
of it. We think that, okay, I think I desire a home, a decent home. No, but look at it. How big you want the home to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you desire a palace, you desire a palace. You say yes to that. And being honest about every feeling that you have, and have look at the desire in completion. And it is not your job to make it happen. That's when your relationship with God happens, because God wants to surprise you. God loves showing you miracles. He's like your boyfriend. Like, it's like, you say to him, like, I want this, and he's like, sure, let's do it, darling. So it's like, you saying yeah, and that's how the communication happens with God. You say yes to the desire,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly say yes to yourself, that yes, I will have it because God.
Mm-hmm.
And then surrender it to God and ask God, show me the steps. It's not about being attached to your desires,
Mm-hmm.
because your love for God is greater than your desire. You just enjoy the journey of getting there. That's it.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is, kind of what you mentioned also before with, and also as you were sharing now, that like on the twin flame journey, it's really about having like also the lover part. And I feel like with that really comes this aspect of you do have to accept your desires.
Mm.
And I had
Yes.
like Rafety, who, like, I had a couple of episodes back,
Mm.
who also, we talked a lot
Mm.
about Indian spirituality and like this path of like ascending off the planet. And this is like this main theme that like the twin flame journey really brings, that's new to spirituality, of really grounding it and accepting your desires instead of renunciation.
Yes.
I love that you bring like a very practical aspect to it with what you just shared. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
So to come back to your journey, and I guess kind of where we left it off was when you went all in with the teachings and your life changed drastically. What happened during that time with the person you believed back then was your twin flame?
So he kept guiding me, as in like I was mirroring and I was doing mirror exercise and kept healing all the upsets that were coming up. And I was kind of guided to become an ascension coach. So back in 2021, July, August, I desired to take up. The desire started from the idea that I really want to know what coaches do. So I want to learn it for myself so I can coach myself. Really, I mean, like that was it. So it felt juicy at that time, and I was like, okay, I'm going to learn this one. And in December, had this deep urge. I said I need to complete my studies, and I want to become an ascension coach for the real reasons of sharing the work, because I was feeling good results from it. And then that is when I was getting clear also, because I was part of a very toxic community before this. And unfortunately, that had left a lot of trauma in my mind, which was completely fear based. It was a cult, and I didn't realize that I was part of a cult. Was quite blinded to it because I was like, okay, it's for God, everything for God, but it was fear based. It was like, if you don't do this, you will go to hell and things like that. So, which was making me sick. I didn't realize that it was making me sick. But with mirror exercise, I became clear that this was a toxic part of my life that I needed to let go. And my twin flame at that time had made me aware that, this person you're following may not be good. Just check out. So with him saying that to me kind of propelled me to discover that this is not a healthy relationship. And my coach at that time also helped me. Danny was my coach at that time. And she helped me. She said, you should need to go through mind alignment process and get to clarity. You don't have to blame, or you don't have to put labels yet until you know the truth. So that I love this about the process. Like you come to your own truth as you walk the path. And as I came to my own clarity, I could sense that this wasn't the way. And I love how God guides you. It's always compassionate. I didn't need that information earlier or later. I just needed it at that time. And I let go of that toxic relationship. And as I was clearing that, I felt guided to share the teaching. So, right about February 2020, I kind of started seriously following my life purpose. So, I started my YouTube channel and started sharing the teachings. Discovered a really new side, a new relationship with God here. This was, I remember turning on the camera, not knowing what I'm going to talk about. And as soon as I used to turn on, I used to ask God, what do I say? And the words would come out. So it was really beautiful discovering that beautiful relationship with God. And as I went all in with my life purpose, I saw that the person who had awakened me to the journey had started moving away. And I still went all in, and I said, okay, love is going to take me to love. So I kept discovering myself more and more with my life purpose. And and now I am exploring my relationship with the new person that God had invited me to explore with. It feels very good and grounded. We're in love. We're in a committed relationship. And inshallah, how God takes us further is it's His journey. It's my love with God, how He takes us through this. Yeah.
I have a couple of questions, of course, to follow up with that instantly come to mind. But the first one I have for you is I feel like one thing that you have really healed deeply is seeing God as your lover and not being attached to the person, like from everything you're sharing, like you're in love with God, which is such a delight to listen to you and hear you talk about Him. So my question to you is, how did you develop this relationship with God where you see Him as your lover? Was that something you always had in your life? Or what was your journey of coming to this point?
Yeah. I always saw God as a guru, as a teacher, as a master, but not as a lover at all. It was always a relationship of service. And that is where I had developed a strong relationship with God through service, through obedience. And but a lot of it was also fear based, which I needed to clear up. When I cleared that up, my love for God increased. And I also saw her as Divine Mother. I feel very close to Divine Mother. So with that came a lot of affection and divine feminine nurturing. And yeah, the teachings of union are clear. Like Jeff and Shaleia share that when you accept God as your lover is when He is compelled to come. Actually, I even heard recently, if you know about this Indian saint Anandi Mai Ma, she had said this in one of her lectures. She said, love Him, just love Him, and He will be compelled to come in a person. That's who God is. So, and it does take time, because if you love God as a person, that's how Jeff and Shaleia have taught us, see Him as a person. It's a relationship, because He will also want to not test you, but kind of build your strength. So you can have that intimate relationship with Him. It can be really intense to be close to God. So you need to have that strength to kind of have that, that welcoming that joy in your life, basically. Having an open heart to welcome so much joy in your life. Yeah.
Just letting everything sink in that you shared. And then with you, because you mentioned you came to that point where you released who you believed was your twin flame, the person who awakened you to your journey. And then when this person you are exploring with now, who you feel is your true twin flame, when he came into your life, did you have any shift happen before that? Anything where you were like, okay, I've heard this and I've noticed a big shift, and then he appeared in your life?
Yeah. The shift was honesty, I guess, and grounding myself to just how accepting myself just how I am. Earlier, I felt that I was chasing a dream, and I had kind of trying to chase the high every time and going behind the flashy thing that I see, and trying to mimic it, or trying to pretend to be worthy of it, but not really actually working on my worthiness inside. So I felt that that shift started happening to me. Uh, of course, when I released that person, the attachment to the person, when I was releasing it, even then, I was like, what if it's my true twin flame? And my coach was like, relax, he will come back to your reality. And this is what God is showing you. And when I let him go, it felt a calm relief. And I knew that this was the time when I needed to totally discover who God is and be with God totally and see him as my lover. And I would do things like I would watch Bollywood movies and see that, you know, the hero is like God and I am the hero, and it used to be really cute. And yeah, so that's when I think I developed an honest relationship with God, and that's when I really sincerely started writing my love list, because I realized that what I desired was not what I was chasing. I thought that I wanted like money in my life, and this is like, you know, what I want, the looking good and these things. But actually, on deep and inside, I desired an honest person who understands me and is standing by me, and you know, is I never have to make an effort for. That is who twin flames are, because you never have to make an effort for yourself. You just love yourself, because you just love yourself naturally. And that's what I discovered, that I was, and building my intimacy with myself, just sitting and, you know, doing the mirror exercise, and taking out time to confess all my feelings to myself without any judgment, without in trying to you know, trying to become the teacher, just being my own listener and my best friend. That kind of brought me, like grounded me, and kind of, and helped me master the teachings as well. um yeah, I guess that's the shift that happened.
Beautiful. And when this person came into your life, what, I guess, like, yeah, what changed in your life? What happened?
Yeah. Yeah, so I was moving, and I was moving homes from my rented home to this home, and he was the one who was moving my home. And God had shown me a lot of, like, it was this voice in my heart that follow the yellow brick road. Like, this is what came at that time when I was like, okay, I can build a friendship here. So and it felt good to continue that friendship, and I kept checking in my heart of all that he was mirroring me. I kept healing that and following what God is showing me next. And all I was receiving is love from him. And I had never felt that kind of love from a person before. Like, really. And I didn't even know that I could be loved so deeply. And yeah, that is something new, and I'm deeply grateful for. Yeah, deeply grateful for really experiencing that I could be loved even deeper than how I can love myself. Really, I didn't know that I was really loving myself so deeply. In such deep places that I can be loved by another person is such a divine experience.
Thank you for sharing first. And yeah, I love how you put that, you know, like with your twin flame, you really, it's not just the upsets that get mirrored back to you, but also the love you give yourself. And your twin flame really amplifies everything that's there. And because you've built so much deep love for yourself and with God within yourself, he's mirroring that to you. And it can be
Yeah,
that easy. Oh, go ahead.
I'd like to add one more thing. I felt like filling up my cup was like the priority, like the prerequisite, I feel. that not relying on the person to fulfill you, not waiting for him to love you, whoever it is, just being fulfilled by God and you brings that. I feel like that's what resulted in it. Resulted. It's just really the cherry on top. Yeah.
It is. It's like this, like the formula works. You just have to apply it. But still, like it is a journey figuring it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with what you shared of filling up your cup, is that also something that like you always had, or something that you learned on your journey in a new way?
Oh, no, I didn't have that at all. In fact, I used to empty my cup for others, serving others and people pleasing and trying to be good for the others, not thinking about myself. So I would just be empty inside. Yeah, with mirror exercise, with following like my coach. And yeah, I'm really thankful to my coach, Stephanie. Like she really guided me deep, 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 and still does. Really honored to be, her student, as you can say. Like I really, yeah, feel really happy with that relationship. It's important to have a really good and intimate relationship with your coach. Your coach, you can allow your coach to guide you like you desire to be guided by God. Like you can ask God to, you can receive God through your coach. So
Amen to that.
I felt like this is when I was able to go deep and find places within me that were empty. uh, Mainly healing my femininity as well. This is the place where it had been kept in dark. The society kind of propels you and teaches you how to be a boy, but somehow the being a girl gets missed. Uh, since industrial revolution, I don't know what it is. It's the survival mode, and even in corporates, you are kind of you get rubbed on because you are in that imbalance of everyone wanting to compete and become very masculine. So this part of me was really ignored, and the more I kept healing my femininity, allowing my femininity to be loved and nurtured and fulfilled with God, yeah, I was able to heal that imbalance and the emptiness and the hollowness inside me. Yeah. And not being afraid to look at where it's empty. I feel like that's why people numb out, because they're like, I'm so lonely. I don't want to look at that. No,
Yeah.
you need to love yourself and fill your cup there. Yeah. It will get fulfilled. It feels like it's so empty, I can't fill it, but it's not true. It does fulfill. Yeah.
And you know, one thing, a question that comes to me is, with like filling your cup, how did you learn to allow God to do that for you? Because you're not your own source. It's like, you know, when
Yeah.
you're empty, you allowing God to do that for you.
Yeah.
I guess like to rephrase that question, what would your advice be on how
Yeah.
to do that?
It's a beautiful question. If you are in that state where you are being like kind of pushed away even from yourself, like there are parts of you that is pushing you away, or you feel like you are not able to reach that place, then I try and like I listen to a class. One way to connect to God, I'll find ways. I'll not stop. That's what I connect to a class, or I will listen to some mantras, because only if you have a relationship with it, because I had it since before. I would listen to some Sufi songs, or the where they're devotional music. I also I'm trained in Indian classical music, and my teacher teaches these kirtans and bhajans. They are all devotional songs. So you can sing to God. You can connect to God, listen to a Sunday service like Church of Union. Like if you feel totally disconnected, you feel like I cannot do this. So you can do these things to get into your mode of connection with God. Once you do that, you can sit down and be open to yourself, hold yourself like a child, and allow that child to open up and let Ma fill her. Just call Devi Ma and fill her. It's how you see it. It's at that time what inspires you at that time. Sometimes you feel like connecting to Father God. Sometimes you feel like connecting to your like lover God as a lover, because those places you can't call Mother God where you desire a lover. So you call God as a lover there. But there are places where you desire a mother. So call Mother God there. So it is about sitting and giving yourself time, filling your cup like that.
And it sounds from what you share that it's also like it sounds like you've really explored your relationship with God and what your unique relationship with God looks like. So it's like this process for everyone to find out, okay, how do you connect with God? What like works for you, to put it that way? But like how does God want to love you and connect with you? And how do you want to do that with God?
Yes. Yeah. And honoring that unique relationship. Like, for example, in our community with Jason, he loves cooking. He just cannot stop himself. So that's where his relationship with God is. Yeah.
I love that.
Mm.
And yeah, I love how, I feel like everything that you share is so so practical. Like it is in a way like you're really sharing your relationship with God, which is a very, very precious oh my God, precious thing to hear that from you, and to kind of get a glimpse into your relationship with God. And yeah, just like really really speaks to kind of like, I feel like it's almost like an invitation for everyone who's listening to get to explore their own relationship with God, and how what feels good for them and how they connect with God. And yeah, that's something that you've done a lot your entire life. Even in the beginning you talked about you reading all these different scriptures. And what I really get from you is that you've really explored your relationship with God in depth.
Yeah. And it doesn't stop. Yeah.
Awesome. Actually, one thing I also wanted to ask you, because you mentioned a bit earlier that you, at one point on your journey, you became a certified ascension coach. And it wasn't that long ago that you actually became a master certified ascension coach. So how did that feel for you when you achieved that status of being a master certified ascension coach?
It was really humbling. It was so humbling. I knew that I was on the path of becoming a master certified. When I spoke to God, I said, God, let's do this. I want to be master certified. And then God started showing me the way of how to, like, I started expanding my life purpose. I became more organized, and I would receive just clients coming in and desiring to go deeper with, because I was going deeper in my life purpose as well. And yeah, when I discovered that I was eligible for it, I reached out to Brianne, and she was like, yeah, you're it. And she invited me to say an oath, and it was so divine. I felt like the grace of all gurus come to me, and a shift happened in my work, in myself, in my soul as well. Like it felt a deeper commitment, and my whole understanding of the work, as well as the soul of the work. You know how I cannot explain, like the work is what we see is in front of us, is like through classes and through our relationships, and but the soul of it is actually just the desire of giving us the awakening of our true nature, which is the Christ consciousness, the Christ consciousness within us, you know, getting that honor to take that light forward. Yeah, it is a divine experience. It's very humbling. Yeah.
Beautiful. And I you know, with I love how you put that with, you know, like the soul of the work, because, you know, it is kind of like the work is like a living thing, and
Yeah.
you build a relationship with it. And with, you know, as you went deeper and became master certified, like it kind of like a new dimension to open up to you.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about the work, I'm wondering, and we're also nearing the end, so a fun light question towards the end. What is your favorite product? And I know this is a really hard question because like you can't really like for one compare, and they're also so stunning. But if you had to pick one, what would be your favorite Twin Flames Universe product and why?
Oh goodness. I'm gonna cry. I don't know. I think I would say the Sedona workshop. Sedona workshop. I feel like whenever I watch it, I always feel a shift in my consciousness. Um, TFAS is taken. Like if you don't have TFAS, just don't talk about it. Like TFAS is taken, right? So if I had to pick other than TFAS, it is Sedona workshop. I feel like I still haven't digested it. I whenever I watch it, I still feel a shift happening every time, because it is a reminder that I am divine. Where Shaleia Ma, like she spoke most of the time, and it touched my heart a lot. And to feel that, to receive that divine mother energy is very nurturing to the soul. And I've yet to, I feel I've yet to learn everything from it. Yeah, that would be my second favorite, I would say.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that piece.
You're welcome.
Then I'm going to get to the very last question I have for you today, which would be, if you could go back to the very beginning of your journey and give that version of yourself a message, what would you let her know?
Yeah, you're amazing. You're doing absolutely fine. Enjoy the process. Enjoy it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but have fun. Yeah.
Amen. Well, thank you very much for being here today, Abeer, and sharing your beautiful journey with me and with everyone who's listening. This was such a pleasure to listen to you talk about your journey and your relationship with God, and how you've just like grown and what you've learned on your journey.
Thank you so much, Dennis. It has been a great pleasure and honor to be here.
Thank you so much. The honor is all mine. And yeah, for everyone who is listening, thank you very much for being here with us and listening in. If you want to hear Twin Flame Separation at the core and experience all these beautiful breakthroughs in your life, as Abeer has shown us today when she shared with us, I invite all of you to head over to twinflamesuniverse.com, where you can find also the Sedona workshop and Twin Flame Ascension School and all the Twin Flames Universe products. We also have a free introduction course on the website, which consists of 8 lessons to really get you started on your journey so you understand what it's about and how to navigate it. I can highly recommend signing up for that. And other than that, we will be back next week with a new episode, and many blessings to all of you on your journey to Harmonious Union.